Alright, so I figured it's about time I showed a more updated tutorial on how to get onto the Chunin exam stadium in Konoha. So basically, there is a glitch that you can do with certain grinding rails, and I'm basically going to try to pull that off now. It's a lot easier with some other rails that don't have like grippable collision like so. But since that's not the case for here, this is going to be a little hard. I mean, once you do pull it off and you get the pattern right, then the rest is pretty much easy as long as you don't get the wrong angle with your walking pattern. Because if you do that, it will trigger the grinding rail. So I'll try and pull this off now. Yeah, see what I mean? It's a bit tricky at first for the first few steps, but once you're actually a few feet away from the building, you should be alright. Because sometimes when you're moving left and right to try and pull this off, it'll pretty much like grip right onto the building, and hopefully I won't pull that off now. But yeah, to do this, you pretty much just want to move left and right on the rail, because by doing this, you pretty much aren't triggering the collision to interact with the rail. But as you just saw, if I go too far, I'll kind of drop and it'll reset the collision detection. So yeah, there are some risks to pulling this off. So I hate to say it, but you need to have a lot of patience to try and pull this off. Fortunately, if you have the broken bond, you can pull this off a lot more easier because unlike Rise of a Ninja, broken bond, you can pretty much jump when interacting with rails. Or yeah, fortunately, if you jump on the right angle, as soon as you land on the rail, sometimes it doesn't actually re-trigger the rail to the point that you'll pretty much land right on it. And yeah, by doing that, you can pull this glitch off a lot more easier. It's interesting how this whole concept works, and sometimes it actually can be useful for speedrunning. Um, but if you want to just try and get to the stadium, then you pretty much do what I'm doing right now. Just move left and right. Don't go too far. And you need to get pretty much where that building is, all the way over there. So it's not too far, but yeah, as long as you try not to rush it, then you should be able to pull it off. Because so far during speedruns, I've managed to use this for ramen delivery, because on my very first run of ramen deliveries, I actually I had the save where I pretty much skip having Jiraiya use the 5-pronged seal to release the seal that Orochimaru put on me. And because of that, that pretty much restricts my chakra for the entire game if you skip this part of the game. So yeah, I can't actually... Well, actually, no, I can unlock chakra concentration level 3, but I won't be able to use level 3. I can unlock it, but I can't actually trigger it because the chakra is pretty much sealed. So a bit of trial and error. But if you use this same glitch, you can actually jump off of the rail and reach a 3rd level building, which allows you to interact with these kind of buildings that I'm on now. And by doing that, I can complete the ramen delivery, even with the 5-pronged seal save. So, ooh, I almost went too far. Sometimes I've noticed too, if you go to pretty much where I was just a few seconds ago, you kind of point downwards and it seems like you're fine, but if you leave it for too long, sometimes Naruto does actually drop and the rail collision will trigger. So I'm not really sure what triggers that, but I don't know. Maybe it's the camera, because for a while I've had a feeling that the camera has collision. It's hard to explain, but the camera does kind of, like, see now it's still kind of moving a bit. I feel like it does kind of move Naruto a little bit. That's just a theory. I could be completely wrong, but other than that, I have no idea why Naruto would be like, you just idle, then all of a sudden, like 5 seconds later, you just drop off the rail. But anyway, we're not doing too bad so far. But I probably could make it from here, but to play it safe, I'm going to get a little bit more closer. Now, yeah, moving the camera like this definitely does help. I mean, I haven't actually tried just, using the analog stick to move Naruto left and right to do it. I feel like I can do it with ease, just moving the camera. Just seems to get the right angles and consistently. Now, one other risk is that you don't want to go too straight because you get more distance covered, but there is a chance that you might re-trigger that rail collision, which will, you'll have to stop that all over again. So, okay, so that's not too bad so far. I think I probably could do it. I might do one more. Actually, no, one more, then after that I'll do it. Yeah, you pretty much want to be right before this building to my left to pull this off. There we go. So yeah, pretty much you want to land for this, which is luckily got collision. Then from here, do another sprint hop, and then voila, we're here. Now, fortunately, or unfortunately, we can't actually land inside the arena, which I guess is kind of fortunate since, if you could get down there, you probably wouldn't be able to get out. But that's alright, at least we're, technically here. Now, this part is kind of where it gets interesting, because sometimes I fail at this, but you want to do another sprint hop, and hopefully, if you're not holding down the analog, you'll land here, and, that'll be that. If you're, I'm not really sure what triggers it, but sometimes you can go so far that you actually go too far and you go right back out of the arena, so there's a bit of a risk to doing that hop there too. So oddly enough, this actually does not have collision, but yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but this part does. It's weird, but then again, I guess you know meant to be here, so no, it's alright there. I still find it hard to believe that this was originally meant to be the area where Orochimaru fights the Third. I mean, it was supposed to be above where they were sitting down. You can actually see that they have actually modeled the seats there. So, no, the attention to detail is it's amazing. For an area that you wouldn't even be visiting, because they've already got a separate exam stadium for the fights itself. The battle that takes place with Naruto and Neji. That's why this might look different if you're comparing the battle arena from when you fight Neji to this area now. It's a completely different stage model. I think it's also a little smaller too, but still, it's cool that you can free roam around it if you can make it this far. Now this part over here doesn't actually have collision, so yeah, don't try walking on that unless you do want to fall. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think eventually I would like to find a way to get onto the top part of the academy, where that arch area is, because I don't know, it's another piece of geometry that I've always wanted to get onto, and thus far I haven't actually been able to do that without mods. But I guess luckily with the assistance of modding, I have been able to learn how hard it's going to be, and it's going to be interesting because it doesn't seem like there's collision at all where that arch area is, but going to the map, pretty much where that green patch is over there, there is collision. So if I can get in there, at least that's something at the least, you know, a bit of an accomplishment there. But I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, that's all for now.